14.4, comparing and ordering integers. Now listen, just before we get started, I want to talk about just a couple of things. Negative integers and positive integers. I just wrote these words up here just to remind myself to talk about them. Guys, integers are whole numbers, but they're positive and negative whole numbers. That means no fractions, no decimals. Okay? That's what we mean when we talk about integers. They can be positive or negative, but they're not fractions or decimals. Okay? Now, Allison, can you tell me, what does absolute value mean?
Absolute value is the distance in between two integers, right? And
It's not the distance between two integers. Peyton?
It's the integer to 0.
It's the distance from the integer to 0. How far is a number from 0?
Yeah.
Okay? So, distance
Don't you write it like
to 0.
2 lines?
You do. Gray just said, don't you write it with 2 lines. This asks us a question. It says, how far is the number inside from 0? So if I wrote 5 in here, you would say, raise your hand, please. You would say, Catherine? No. No. Catherine's getting caught on something that we're going to talk about in just a minute. Those 2 bars are asking you a question. They're saying, how far is this from 0? Izzy? It's 5 units from 0. Absolute value is always positive. It's always positive. Because it's just saying, how far is this number from 0? Negative 5 is 5 units from 0, and positive 5 is 5 units from 0. Okay? Now, explain to me what opposites are. If you have an idea, explain to me what opposites are. Coulis?
Opposites are 2 numbers that have the same absolute value.
Could not have said it any better. Opposites are numbers. That's the abbreviation for numbers. Numbers with the same, whoa, there's not an E at the end, the same absolute value.
Did you do AB?
Now, give me 2 numbers that are opposites of each other, McVee.
1 and negative 1.
1 and negative 1. Now, McVee, how far is 1 from 0? 1. And how far is negative 1 from 0?
1.
Good. They are opposites of each other because they are the same distance from 0, but aren't the same number. Okay? Good. Now let's look at this first example. Simple stuff here. It says graph the integers on a number line, then write the integers in order from least to greatest. So we're going to graph it first, then we're going to order it from least to greatest. Now let me ask you this. Gray B, can you tell me what's the smallest number that you see up here? Negative 30. Good. What's the biggest number that you see up here, Casey?
35.
All right. Casey, do I have enough little dash marks for that? So what do you think I should do? How big should these dash marks be from one to the next? You think 10's a good one? Yeah? So let me ask you this. If 10's going to be a good one, you said that 35 is the biggest number. What should I make this? All right, so Casey says make this 40. That would make this 30, 20, 10, 0, negative 10, negative 20, negative 30.
Worked out perfect.
Does it work out perfectly? Lou, where do I put negative 30?
On negative 30.
On negative 30. And I'm going to write it just above it.
Yeah.
Okay? Where do I put 20?
20, you put it on 20.
Okay, on positive 20, obviously. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm done with this one, done with this one. What about 10?
You put it on positive.
All right, put a dot there. I'm graphing them now. The dot is the graph. Allison, pick it up from there. Negative 15.
On negative 2, which is halfway in between negative 10 and negative 20.
Halfway between negative 10 and negative 20 is negative 15. Good. All right. What about negative 5?
Halfway in between 0 and negative 10.
0 and negative 10 is negative 5. Good. And then finish off that last one for us, Allison.
You put it halfway in between 30 and 40.
Okay, good. Now, Izzy, using our graph, let's write the numbers in order from least to greatest.
Oh,
Negative 30, negative 15, negative 5, 10, 20, 35. So you don't really have to think now about ordering it. The number line did that for us. Do you agree? Good. Done. Any questions on that? You're happy with that, right? Third grade? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at the next one. Complete the statement using less than or greater than. Look at the two numbers. Which one should I point to with the arrow? Which one should I point to with the arrow? John D?
20, negative 20.
Negative 20. Now, I heard that Miss Smith, and I like Miss Smith's idea about this, you put 2 dots on the bigger side and 1 dot on the smaller side. 2 over here, 1 over there, and you connect them. Huh, that's interesting. I remember it by just pointing at the small one. I know that you guys like the alligator chomping the bigger one, right? That's fine. Any way that you guys remember that, it's fine with me. Is that all good? Everybody happy? Even the, what's the absolute value of negative 20, Catherine? No, the absolute value is 20. Catherine, what's the absolute value of negative 12? Okay, so negative 20 has a bigger absolute value, but it's a smaller number. It's farther to the left on the number line, and that's what defines smaller numbers. Okay? Allison, yes ma'am?
Does the greater than less than equal to, and will the greater than or less than, is it just asking for kind of like absolute value basically?
Well, no, it's not, because this one has the bigger absolute value, but it's the smaller number. This one's farther from 0.
Because I think it's closest to 0.
Absolute value is asking which is, well, it's not asking you which is closer, it's just saying how far is this thing from 0, okay? But this one is saying what's the smallest number, okay? Negative 20 is the smallest number. All right, let's look. Example number 3. Now, you know what's missing? Raise your hand. It says state the absolute value of the number, but what should it have that it's missing? I don't know why they didn't put it in there. Ray B?
The lines.
The absolute value bars. It should have that there. That's what asks us the question. Now, if it did, it wouldn't even need these directions. That's what it says. Okay? That's asking us a question. Absolute value of negative 80 is what, Luke?
80.
Is equal to 80. Negative 80 is 80 units from 0. Okay?
I love that.
Always positive. Now think about this. Just a little something on the side here. The absolute value of this number, Coolest, I don't know what it is. I don't know what this number is. But its absolute value is 3. What could that number be?
Negative 3 or 3.
Negative 3 or 3. Nice. You learned something earlier this year. Now, Coolest, stay with me. Stay with me. This is what sometimes catches our 8th graders. So I want you to remember it when you get to the 8th grade. What could this number be? I'm talking to Coolest.
It can't. Because an absolute value can't be.
Exactly. There is no solution.
So like let's say that was on the quiz tomorrow, we would just write no solution.
You'd write no solution. Okay?
Is that the only thing?
It's not going to be on the quiz.
Okay.
But this is what you would say. And sometimes it trips people up. They're like, oh, absolute value of x is negative 3. It's going to be 3 or negative 3. No. There is no number that has an absolute value that's negative.
That's
Okay?
the books just being done like that.
Sometimes when we're doing certain inequalities, it kind of does that for us. Okay, so we need to be aware of it. Okay, let's look at the next one. State the opposite of the number, Lily.
Yes.
What is it? 77 is the opposite.
Is
Okay.
it lost?
This is the last one. Now, this says evaluate the expression when x equals negative 7. Casey,
Yes.
what does it mean to evaluate?
D is to plug in, and
So what do I do first?
plug in. So parentheses.
Parentheses, where the variable was, and what do you want me to put in those parentheses? Negative 7. So these big bars are asking us a question, Cedar. What question are they asking us?
What's the absolute value?
What's the absolute value of negative 7?
7.
And Cedar, what's that?
1.
Done. You good?
Yes.
Everybody happy?
Si, senor.
Awesome. Get to work.
Got it.